Let's be honest, Inception isn't just a good movie. It's a mind-bending, brilliantly made piece of art. It mixes dream logic, emotional weight, action, and deep philosophy, and somehow, it works. For me, this one's personal. I've watched it more times than I can count. Every time, I notice something new. But I'll also admit, it's a bit confusing. So in this video, I'll walk you through the entire film, scene by scene, while breaking it all down in a way that actually makes sense. And hey, if you're into this kind of stuff, make sure to hit like, subscribe, and all that good YouTube stuff. Alright, let's dive in. The movie opens with Cobb washed up on a beach, barely conscious. He sees two kids playing, but we never see their faces. That small detail? Super important. Those kids aren't just part of the dream, they're Cobb's emotional anchor. Cobb gets dragged into a Japanese castle where he meets an older man, Saito. A guard drops a small metal top on the table, and the moment Saito sees it, something clicks. Then we jump back in time, or maybe deeper into the dream. It's already trippy. Now we're at a fancy dinner. A younger Cobb is pitching an idea to a younger Saito, dream sharing, extracting secrets from the subconscious. And he drops this gem. What's the most resilient parasite? An idea. Such a great line, and also the whole concept of the film. But Saito isn't buying it. Things start falling apart, literally. Earthquakes, broken glass, and Cobb's watch ticking slowly. That's when we realize, we're in a dream within a dream. In the next layer, Cobb, Arthur, and Saito are all asleep, hooked up to a dream-sharing machine. Meanwhile, outside the building, chaos is erupting. Back in the castle, Cobb breaks into a safe and grabs some documents, but Mal appears. She's Cobb's wife, or at least a projection of her. And her showing up? That's bad news. It means Cobb's subconscious is interfering. Mal betrays him. The dream collapses. Arthur is shot and hence wakes up. Nash dunks Cobb in a tub. And then we get that amazing visual. Water crashing through the dream world as Cobb jolts awake in the real world. Classic Nolan. But plot twist. Saito knew it was all fake. This was a test. He let them try to steal from him to see if they were good enough. And they weren't. Even Cobb's last-ditch attempt to steal real info fails. Saito was ahead of him the whole time. But just when it seems like they're out, Saito notices something strange. The carpet feels off. It's polyester, not wool. That tiny detail tells him the truth. He's still dreaming. That's when Cobb explains it. They were actually 3 layers deep. A dream, inside another dream. This is Nolan's way of telling us. If your brain's spinning already, buckle up. It's only getting wilder from here. Eventually, they all wake up for real, on the train this time. Cobb, Arthur, and Nash go their separate ways, and Saito? He's clearly impressed. The smile says it all. Honestly, this opening isn't just flashy, it's a challenge. It's Nolan asking, can you follow this? If yes, welcome aboard. From there, we see Cobb alone in an apartment in Tokyo, clearly exhausted. He spins that little metal top, his totem. Now what is a totem? That'll be explained later in the movie. Cobb spins it to check if he's dreaming. It wobbles, then falls. So, maybe reality? Then the phone rings. It's his kids, James and Philippa. And that phone call just breaks your heart. You can hear how much they miss him. But Cobb? He can't come home. Not yet. When his daughter says, Grandma says you're never coming back, he breaks. Then James asks, is Mommy with you? And you see Cobb's whole mood shift. A quick flash of Mal in his memory, and suddenly the emotional weight is just crushing. He hangs up, takes a breath, and there's a knock. It's Arthur. Their ride's waiting on the rooftop. As they head up, Arthur brings up Mal. Her showing up in the dream wasn't a fluke. Something's wrong with Cobb's subconscious. And Arthur clearly cares. It's more than just business for him. Up on the roof, they step into a helicopter where Nash is already sitting, bruised and bloody. Turns out, he tried to sell them out to Saito. Didn't go well. Saito, calm as ever, gives Cobb a gun. You want to deal with this yourself? Cobb doesn't, and that small decision says a lot. He's not cold-blooded. Saito's men drag Nash away, and finally, Cobb asks the obvious, what do you want from us? That's when Saito drops the real job, Inception. He doesn't want to steal an idea. He wants to plant one. Arthur shuts it down immediately. He explains, you can't fake an idea. If someone knows it came from you, it doesn't stick. True inception means the idea feels completely organic, like it came from their own mind. Cobb hesitates, until Saito offers something huge, a way home. Cobb's stuck outside the US because of some serious legal issues. But Saito says he can fix that. And now this isn't just a mission, It's Cobb's only chance to see his kids again. Saito gives him the target: Robert Fisher, heir to a powerful corporate empire. His father's dying, and Saito wants Fisher to dissolve the company. Cobb agrees, but he'll need a new team. Later, on a plane, Cobb and Arthur go over the plan. Arthur brings up how much Cobb wants to go home, and Arthur doubts the mission. Cobb tells him it can be done. How does he know? Because he's done it before. But he won't say who the target was, and that silence says everything. When Arthur asks why they're going to Paris, Cobb replies, "We're going to need a new architect." That leads him to Professor Miles, Maul's father. Cobb asks for help building the dream world, and Miles introduces him to Ariadne, one of his brightest students. Cobb gives her a simple test: design a maze that takes a minute to solve. Her first tries are too easy, but then she sketches something clever, circular, impossible to crack right away. And Cobb knows, she's the one. Next thing she knows, she's inside a dream. That leads us to one of the coolest scenes in the movie, the Paris Café. Cobb explains how dreams work. How you never question them while you're in one. He asks Ariadne, "How did we get here?" And she can't answer. Because you never remember how dreams start. Then, mid-conversation, everything begins exploding, slowly, beautifully, like suspended chaos. Ariadne wakes up completely shaken. Cobb explains to her that 5 minutes in real life feels like about an hour in a dream. So while they were just chatting, they actually spent nearly an hour inside a dream built by Ariadne. This is where the movie drops one of its coolest ideas. The deeper you go into dreams, the more time stretches. If they go really deep, they could spend what feels like days, or even years, inside. In her second dream session, Ariadne gets bold. She literally folds Paris onto itself. It's wild and shows just how powerful an architect can be. You're not bound by physics, you can build entire worlds from scratch. But Cobb warns her, change too much, too fast, or use places from the real world, and the subconscious starts fighting back. Dream people turn hostile. It's like the mind attacking an intruder. That's when Maul reappears. She doesn't say much but kills Ariadne in the dream. This tells us Maul isn't just a memory, she's a serious problem. Ariadne wakes furious, and Arthur explains that dying in a dream is how you wake up. He also tells her she needs a totem. Here we know a totem is a small object only that the owner knows the feel of, to tell if they're dreaming or awake. Ariadne reaches for Arthur's totem, which is a die, but Arthur tells her it's not allowed to touch someone else's totem, because the totems are unique to everyone and no one can learn the feel of someone else's totem. Cobb's totem is a spinning top. If it spins forever, he's dreaming; if it falls, he's awake. But the way he clutches it? You can already tell this is more than just a tool, it's his lifeline. Now the team needs one more key player: Eames, a charming, slightly shady forger based in Mombasa. Cobb finds him gambling in a smoky back room. Their banter shows they've got history. While Arthur is precise and logical, Eames brings style, flair, and improvisation, the perfect mix for Inception. But it's not all smooth. Cobalt Engineering, the company Cobb crossed, has a price on his head. Walking Mombasa's streets is risky. Eames helps Cobb shake off a tail, leading to a tense Bourne-style foot chase through narrow alleys. Just when it looks bad, Saito slides up in a car, cool as ever. Saito's not just funding this, he's protecting his investment. That moment shows how powerful he really is. Back at the workshop, Ariadne returns, despite saying she wouldn't. Once you've built worlds from pure imagination, nothing else compares. She's hooked. Arthur starts teaching her about paradoxical architecture, think Escher paintings, impossible structures like the Penrose stairs. They hide in the dream by confusing the subconscious with impossible geometry. This scene also deepens Cobb's story. Ariadne asks why he can't design dreams himself. Arthur hesitates, then reveals, maybe it's Maul. She's growing stronger in the dreams. Ariadne assumes Maul is Cobb's ex-wife, but Arthur drops a bomb: she's not his ex. She's dead. The Maul we see in dreams isn't really Maul, it's Cobb's projection. A memory bleeding into the dream world and getting harder to control. What's brilliant here is how Nolan mixes the dream world rules with deep character stakes. Time stretches, paradoxes confuse, subconscious attacks, but Cobb's biggest battle is with himself. With the crew nearly set, the architect Ariadne, the forger Eames, the pointman Arthur, and the money Saito, they still need one crucial piece: the chemist. Enter Yusuf. Cobb explains the job and the need for a sedative strong enough for 3 dream layers. Yusuf says it's impossible, such a dream would be unstable. But Cobb says he's done it before. Yusuf asks how many people are on the mission. Cobb says 5, but Saito insists on coming too, so 6. Yusuf takes them to a back room in his shop where people sleep, sharing a single dream every day. Cobb explains that after a while, shared dreaming becomes the only way to dream at all. This glimpse shows just how twisted the world of Inception is. Later, in the balcony, Saito lays it all out to Cobb and Eames. Robert Fisher is about to inherit all the control of Fisher Morrow, and if he does, then it will become a superpower, and Saito doesn't want that to happen. Eames asks him about a man named Peter Browning, who is Robert Fisher's godfather and a man Robert trusts. Eames goes to meet him to study his mannerisms and decides that he will disguise as Browning to guide Fisher to the idea to dissolve his father's company. Later, Ariadne builds her totem, a brass chess piece. She drills into it carefully, testing how it tips. She hears a noise and finds Cobb setting up one of the dream machines. He wasn't expecting company and looks like he was about to go under alone, which feels sketchy. She asks what he's doing. He brushes it off but notices her chess piece and reaches for it. She snaps it away. He smiles. It's a subtle moment showing she's sharp and cautious. They talk totems. Cobb reveals they weren't his idea, they were Maul's. That spinning top he always uses? It was hers. In dreams, it would spin forever. This small detail shifts everything. Cobb isn't using his own totem. He's holding on to hers, a sign he's clinging to her memory, maybe too tightly. Then Cobb shifts to the maze designs Ariadne's been working on. She's carefully layered the dream levels, tying each to Fisher's subconscious. One level is even a hospital to subtly draw Fisher's dying father in. But Cobb stops her. Why? Because only the dreamer should know the maze. If more people do, the subconscious might interfere. Specifically, his subconscious, meaning Maul. If she appears, she'll ruin everything. That's why Cobb won't design the mazes himself. He can't trust himself to keep Maul out. This dynamic is one of the film's best. It's not just about building cool dream layers. It's about how your mind can betray you even when you're trying to stay in control. Ariadne pushes Cobb if the others know about Maul. They don't. She urges him to open up if it worsens, but Cobb dodges. He needs this team. He needs her. Because this job is his only chance to see his kids again. The rawest moment comes when Ariadne asks why he can't just go home. Now we learn the reason that Cobb can't go back, because people think he killed Maul. She asks how she died. Instead of explaining, he thanks her for not asking if he did it. That moment is brutal. Cobb isn't just grieving. He's drowning in guilt and completely alone. With the crew assembled, it's time to plan Inception, the real challenge. The goal? Plant an idea so deep in Fisher's mind that he believes it's his own, convincing him to dismantle his father's empire. But it's not as simple as telling someone what to do. Cobb explains the subconscious ignores logic and responds only to emotion. So they have to make it personal, hitting Fisher right in the gut. Eames breaks it down. On the first dream level, they plant the seed, I will not follow in my father's footsteps. Next, deeper down, they build on it, I will create something myself. Finally, at the core, they deliver the kicker. My father doesn't want me to be him. It's not just clever, it's beautiful, Inception through emotional reconciliation. But pulling off 3 dream layers means staying under for a long time. That's where Yusuf, the chemist, comes in. He is developing a sedative strong enough to keep them stable. If anything goes wrong, there's no easy escape. The biggest logistical hurdle. Where and when? Saito solves it. Fisher takes a flight from Sydney to Los Angeles every 2 weeks, a perfect 10-hour window with no distractions. It's a clean setup, almost too perfect. But hey, when you're hijacking minds, you get creative. With emotional structure, chemistry, and timing in place, the mission is officially a go. It's late at night in the workshop, and Cobb's back at it, hooked up to the dream machine again. Ariadne finds him alone and, well, curiosity wins. She plugs in too. Inside, she lands in an elevator. Each floor? A different memory. One opens to a quiet, tender moment, Cobb and Maul just sitting together. Peaceful, too peaceful, until Cobb sees Ariadne and freaks out. He yanks her inside, trying to shield her from what's deeper. But she's already seen enough. Upstairs, they stop on a beach where Cobb watches Maul and their kids play. It's beautiful, and heartbreaking. Ariadne asks why he keeps going back, and he admits, it's the only way he can still see them. It's how he dreams now. That's when she realizes, this elevator is his subconscious archive. Floor after floor of locked up memories. Then she notices one mysterious button, B level. Cobb won't say a word about it. Instead, he shows her the memory of the last day he saw his kids. His voice breaks as he confesses he didn't call out to them. he never saw their faces. And he regrets it more than anything. While Cobb's lost in the past, Ariadne, being Ariadne, sneaks down to the B level. And it's chilling. A wrecked hotel room. And Mal, this version of her, is cold, sharp, and disturbingly real. She questions Ariadne, gets hostile, even grabs a broken glass like she's ready to kill. It's clear, this isn't just Cobb's memory. Mal's become a living embodiment of his guilt, and she's dangerous. Cobb pulls Ariadne out just in time, and speaks something to Mal that stops you cold. I'll come back for you. Back in the real world, Ariadne confronts him. You think locking her in your mind is going to fix this? And she's right. It's like trying to seal off a flood with duct tape. That's when Arthur and Saito return with big news. Robert Fisher's father is dead. The funeral is in Los Angeles. And Fisher's about to take a 10-hour flight from Sydney to LA, the perfect window. At the airport, Cobb reminds Saito, if this deal doesn't go through, he's getting arrested the second they land. Saito gives him a cool nod, one phone call. And you believe him. On the plane, the team is in place. Eames smoothly pickpockets Robert's passport and hands it to Cobb, who confirms if this is their target or not. Then comes the small talk. Cobb gives the passport back to Robert and offers condolences, and just like that, the seed is planted. Fisher takes the sedative spiked water, and he's out. Everyone else follows. The dream begins. Level 1, Yusuf's dream. And it's pouring. Why? Because Yusuf had to pee before they went under but didn't get the chance. So now it's raining. Nolan really thought of everything. The team rolls out. They plan to hijack Fisher in a cab. Sure enough, Fisher hails one, and inside are Arthur and Saito. Eames hops in beside him, pretending to be a random traveler. Then, bam, Saito pulls a gun. At the same time, Cobb picks up Ariadne in the second car when suddenly, a train barrels through the street, out of nowhere. No tracks, no reason. Just full chaos. Then gunmen appear and open fire. Saito gets hit in the crossfire. They flee to a warehouse. Cobb's furious. Turns out Arthur didn't dig deep enough into Fisher's subconscious. It's been militarized. These gunmen aren't random projections, they're mental bodyguards. And the train? That was Mal again. Cobb's guilt is literally crashing the dream. And it's not just his problem anymore, it's endangering everyone. But no one knows this yet. Eames suggests putting Saito out of his misery. But Cobb shuts it down. Because if Saito dies here, he won't wake up, he'll fall into limbo. Now, what's limbo? It's the raw basement level of dreams. No structure, no rules, just endless subconscious. Time stretches endlessly, and the longer you're there, the more you forget who you are. It's terrifying. And Cobb? He's been there. In the warehouse, the mood is tense. Everyone's angry Cobb didn't warn them. Yusuf trusted him. Eames wants to bail, but Cobb reminds them. 1 hour up top equals a whole week down here. Staying behind isn't safer, it's suicide. So they press on. Cobb and Arthur interrogate Robert. They hint at a safe in his father's office, but Robert's confused. Doesn't know about any safe or combination. That's actually good. It means they get to plant that idea. Outside, Eames is prepping his disguise as Browning, Robert's godfather. The emotional manipulation begins. Eames, now Browning, acts terrified and shouts. Cobb storms in, dragging him and handcuffs him next to Fisher and leaves them both to stew. Then it's showtime. Eames gently nudges Robert. Maybe your dad left something for you. A combination for the safe, but Robert resists. His dad was cold. The last thing he ever said was, "You're a disappointment." Meanwhile, Saito's fading fast. Cobb checks on him. If he dies here, he's gone for decades or maybe forever. Cobb worries Saito might forget their deal. But Saito says, "I won't." It's a quiet but heavy moment. And Ariadne puts the pieces together. The train wasn't Fisher, it was Mal again. She presses Cobb. How long were you in limbo? And finally, he tells her. He and Mal went too deep. Built a world of dreams together. Spent what felt like 50 years down there. Built cities, grew old, lived a full life in that dream. But Cobb knew it wasn't real. But Mal forgot. She wanted to forget. She hid her totem and convinced herself their dream was real. When they finally woke up, she did, but she didn't. She thought the real world was just another dream. And she believed the only way home was to die, again. For real this time. Then Cobb explains the night she died. Their anniversary. They were at a hotel, that same hotel from the dream. She sat on the ledge across from their room, smiling. Told him it was time to go home. Then she dropped the real twist. She'd filed a legal claim that Cobb was dangerous, that he might hurt her. She was setting it up to look like murder. She was going to make Cobb follow her, even if it meant dying. She didn't just lose herself in the dream. She dragged reality down with her. Cobb tries to stop Mal. He pleads with her, but she doesn't listen, and jumps. And just like that, everything clicks into place. That's why Cobb can't go home. Why he's on the run. Mal believed they were still dreaming, and she made sure the world believed Cobb killed her. Ariadne finally speaks up. She tells Cobb that what happened to Mal isn't his fault, and if he doesn't confront this guilt, it's going to get everyone hurt. He can't keep letting Mal bleed into every dream. It's not just about him anymore. Before Cobb can even respond, trouble shows up. Gunman. Robert Fisher's subconscious defenses. Time to move. Cobb storms in the room where Fisher and Eames were. He puts a phone to Fisher's ear, a gun to his head, and asks for the first 6 digits that come to mind. And Robert says, 528491. That number isn't random. It'll be a big thing moving forward. They hop into the van. Yusuf's driving, and they sedate Robert to go deeper. Right before they go under, Eames mentions that Robert's relationship with his father is way more broken than they thought. Arthur and Eames hold off the gunman outside while they prepare to leave the warehouse. Cobb also tells the team he's going to try the Mr. Charles Gambit. Arthur doesn't love it, but Cobb's desperate. They go under. One dream deeper. Now we're in a hotel. Quiet, calm, but things are moving. Robert sits at a bar, chatting with a mysterious woman and spoiler. It's Eames in disguise again. Arthur and Ariadne are watching from nearby. That's when Cobb walks in. Arthur explains to Ariadne what the Mr. Charles move really is, telling the dreamer they're dreaming. It's dangerous. Normally, it triggers their subconscious to attack. That's why it's rarely used. But Cobb? He's not exactly a rule follower. Cobb picks up where Eames left off. He points out a tissue Eames left before leaving, with 6 digits on it. Yep. 528491. Same number, showing up again. It's not just a code, it's Inception in action. Planting an idea deeper, layer by layer. Robert's wallet is also missing. He gave it to the Eames in the previous layer himself. Meanwhile, Eames transforms back into himself near Saito, who's feeling better now. Pain doesn't carry down so strongly through dream levels. Eames pulls out a childhood photo of Robert. Small item, big emotional trigger. Suddenly, everything shakes. That's Yusuf in level 1, swerving the van, real-world physics leaking into the dream. It keeps everyone on edge. Robert grows suspicious. He asks Cobb, "Who did you say you were again?" Cobb drops the act. Says he's not from marketing, he's dream security. It's the full Mr. Charles play now. And then Cobb sees his kids in the hallway. Another painful reminder that Mal is creeping in again. His own subconscious is becoming a liability. Meanwhile, projections, Robert's subconscious, begin to stare. It's working, but also risky. Cobb leans into the weirdness. Points out how none of this makes sense. That Robert doesn't remember how he got here. Fisher finally says it. You're not real. That's the shift. His subconscious eases off. Cobb confirms it. I'm here to protect you. Now Fisher thinks Cobb's his ally. The heist just got a lot smoother. They make a run for it. Cobb even saves Fisher from 2 subconscious guards, shooting them in a bathroom. Fisher is all in now. While Arthur and Ariadne prep the kick by planting charges in room 491, below room 528, Cobb keeps nudging Fisher to remember what happened before he got here. Fisher recalls being kidnapped, and a 6-digit number. He remembers, 52. That's enough for now. They go to room 528 and find the PASIV dream machine again. Cobb tells that he was about to be put into another dream. Elsewhere, Saito sees Browning and thinks it's Eames, but Eames isn't pretending to be Browning anymore. What they're seeing is Robert's projection of Browning. Eames wants to see what Robert thinks of Browning now. Inside the room, as Browning walks in, Arthur and Cobb bring him to his knees and ask Robert if he saw the kidnappers torture Browning, and that's when Robert's projection of Browning spills. He was trying to protect the company, didn't want Robert to dissolve it. But now, he believes Robert might actually build something better. That's the moment Cobb jumps in. He says Browning's still lying. The only way to get the truth? Go deeper, into Browning's subconscious. At this point, the plan is working. Fisher's on board, thinking he's diving into Browning's mind, but really, he's diving into his own. Just as Cobb and the team intended, Arthur stays behind in the hotel layer to set off the timed kick later. Meanwhile, Cobb spots a familiar window, the one Mal jumped from. His guilt creeps in again. It's getting harder to keep it together, but he manages to push it aside. Now we're in level 3, the Snow Fortress Dream. It's massive, cold, surreal. Ariadne asks what's really down there, and Cobb says the idea they want Fisher to find. But she repeats it, sharper this time. What's down there, for you? He doesn't answer. Just silence. Back in the hotel, Arthur gets jumped by projections. In the van, Yusuf's still in a high-speed chase, and suddenly the van flips off the road, which changes everything. With gravity shifting in level 1, the hotel dream loses gravity too. And that gives us one of the coolest sequences ever. Arthur fighting in a rotating hallway. He's floating, flipping, dodging punches, pure Nolan magic. Meanwhile, in the Snow Fortress, which is Eames's dream by the way, Cobb tells him to draw the guards away so Fisher can get inside. Eames asks who's guiding Fisher. Cobb says he can't. If he knows the layout, Maul could use that against them. Saito steps up, even though he's badly wounded. And Cobb tells Fisher something important: you need to break in yourself. It's crucial that Fisher feels like this is all his idea. Eames charges out, drawing fire as the others move. Yusuf, up in the van, knows time's almost up. They're cornered on a rising bridge, and the attackers are closing in. He decides that it's time for the kick and starts the music by putting headphones on Arthur's ears. Arthur hears it, but they're not ready. In the fortress, they also hear the faint music. Cobb quickly does the math. 60 minutes in this layer, 3 in the hotel, and just 10 seconds in the van. The clock's ticking. Ariadne mentions a shortcut Eames built, a duct system straight into the tower. She's hesitant to reveal it, but Cobb says they're out of time. They radio Saito to guide Fisher through it. Just then, Yusuf initiates the first kick by slamming the van into the railing of the bridge, but everyone misses it and the van is now in the air and they've got time till it hits the water for the next kick. Arthur's floating now in zero gravity, tying everyone up and prepping for the elevator kick. Every layer is aligning. In the fortress, Cobb and Ariadne provide cover from a sniper perch. Saito and Fisher climb up through the ducts toward the final room. But Maul shows up, Cobb's subconscious again, breaking through. Cobb hesitates, and in that moment, Maul shoots Fisher. Cobb takes her out quickly, but it's too late. Fisher's dead, and that means he's fallen into limbo. They've failed, or so it seems. But Ariadne won't give up. She insists they go after him. Cobb is skeptical at first but agrees. Meanwhile, Eames preps the final explosives, and back in the first layer. The van is still falling, time slowed to a crawl. As Cobb and Ariadne descend into limbo, Saito finally dies too, slipping into that deep, dreamless place. While Eames is running around the complex setting up the bombs, fighting off the guards to prepare for the kick at this level. Meanwhile, we see that limbo is surreal. Massive, dreamlike, built from memory. They find the world Cobb and Maul created, the place where it all started. Cobb takes Ariadne to his and Maul's home and she's there. She tells Cobb to stay with her but Cobb says that he feels guilt and pain. And now we get the big reveal. Remember earlier when Cobb said Inception was possible? He wasn't bluffing. Here we learn that he'd already done it, on Maul. He planted the idea that their world, the limbo in which they were stuck, wasn't real. That they needed to wake up. And it worked, too well. Even back in reality, Maul still believed they were dreaming. She couldn't let go. She jumped, thinking she'd wake up. Cobb's been carrying that guilt ever since. This is why he sees her in every dream. Why he's never been able to forgive himself. While Cobb breaks down and faces the truth, Eames finishes setting the bombs. Everything is almost in place. Arthur's ready in the second layer. He floats up above the elevator, wires set, charges armed. He gently places headphones on Eames, the signal that it's go time. Every level is aligned now. This is it. Eames charges up the defibrillator to jolt Fisher awake, and in limbo, we hear a faint thunder rumble. It's subtle, but so cool. Like every action is echoing across the layers. Meanwhile, Cobb tries one last time with Maul. He asks where Fisher is but she says that she won't let him go. So Cobb tries a different approach. What if I stay? That's when Maul softens. She tells him Fisher's on the porch. Ariadne finds him, alive. Dazed, but alive. Cobb tells her to go back with Fisher, but he's staying. He's going after Saito, who's surely lost somewhere in limbo by now. Before Ariadne leaves, Cobb finally faces Maul for real. He tells her the truth. She's just a memory now, twisted by guilt. She stabs him, one last act of resistance, but Ariadne shoots her, and it's done. She throws Fisher off the porch. That's his kick back up. He wakes up in the Snow Fortress. Eames quickly urges him to go to the vault. Arthur sets off the elevator kick. And inside the vault, we get the real payoff. Fisher walks into this quiet space that looks like his father's deathbed. And there, his father tells him something different. Not that he failed by being different, but that he failed by trying to be the same. It hits hard. This is the seed they planted, now fully bloomed. Fisher opens the safe. The same code, 528491, shows up. And inside, the will and the pinwheel. The tiny, simple toy from his childhood photo. Suddenly, it all feels real. The idea has taken root. Eames sees this and quietly smiles. He detonates the building, the third-level kick. Arthur's elevator drops in the second level. That's another. And Yusuf's van finally hits the river. All the kicks land. Back in limbo, Cobb tells Ariadne to jump, now or she's stuck. She hesitates, but trusts him, and falls. And like that, they rise. One by one. Through every layer. Through the fortress. The hotel. The water. Everyone's back. Except Cobb and Saito. On the bridge, they all float to the surface, gasping. Robert's convinced. He'll break up the empire. His father wanted him to be his own man. Mission accomplished. Arthur asks the big question. Where's Cobb? Ariadne just says quietly, he stayed. He's finding Saito. And finally, we come full circle. That first scene? Cobb washed up on the shore, taken to the castle. It's now. This is limbo. Saito sits across the long table, older, confused. Cobb reminds him, their deal, their reason for being here. And something clicks in Saito's eyes. He remembers. He reaches for the gun, as the top spins beside him. And Cobb wakes up. On the plane. He blinks, looks around. Arthur, Ariadne, Eames, Robert, Yusuf, all there, quiet, but present. Then his eyes land on Saito. And Saito picks up the phone. Dials the number. He remembers too. At the airport, Cobb hands his passport to the officer. There's a pause, then a stamp. He's cleared. He's home. Ariadne catches his eye and smiles. And as he walks past each team member, there's a quiet sense of closure. They're all moving on. Professor Miles greets him outside. And then they reach Cobb's home. He steps inside, places the top on the table as it starts spinning. But then he hears laughter. The sound he's been waiting for. He looks up, and this time, his kids turn around. Faces clear, no dream. He runs to them, wraps them in his arms. And behind him, the top spins. Wobbling. Still spinning. But the screen cuts to black. And that's how it ends. Was it real? Was it still a dream? The beauty is, it doesn't matter. Cobb didn't stay to check. Because to him, this was real. And that's what makes Inception so powerful. It's not just smart. It's not just slick. It's emotional. It's about a man letting go of guilt and finally choosing peace. This whole video, it wasn't just a breakdown. It was me reliving one of my favorite cinematic experiences. If you've made it this far, I hope you felt that too. Every layer, every sound cue, every perfectly timed cut, it all builds to that final hug. And even after all the mind-bending logic, that moment is what lingers. And about that top? I have thoughts, lots of them, on the ending, the rules of the dream world, and all the subtle clues Nolan scattered throughout. So here's the deal. If you want a full deep dive on that, let me know in the comments. I'll only make it if enough of you are into it. Until then, drop a like if you enjoyed this breakdown, share it with someone who still debates whether Cobb was dreaming, and subscribe if you want more deep dives like this one. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.